And you know what? If you're a squeamish person and you don't want to have to do with poo, wee, vomit, diarrhea, all of the things, maybe getting a guide dog isn't for you. Hi everyone, it's Mel here and welcome back to Mel's Blind Life, the YouTube channel all about blindness, and welcome to another guide dog video. First of all, I'm going to apologise for the headphone in the ear look. It's so that I've got really good audio and you guys can hear me a little bit better, so sorry about that. And today I'm going to talk about a topic that was brought up because of my most recent guide dog tag, which I did last week featuring my friend Ash and her guide dog Quinny. And that topic was, what if a dog guide has an accident inside while it's working? So I've had a lot of questions about what to do in this scenario. You know, can you tell the dog off? Can you do this, that, and the other thing? So I thought that it would probably be a really good idea to provide this resource for you guys. So here's the situation. You're walking along in a shopping mall or any kind of public area. You might be in a railway station, you might be in an airport, something like that, wherever, somewhere that your dog is wearing its harness and is doing its duty of guiding you. And all of a sudden, possibly without apparent warning, your dog stops and drops a load. So what do? I've had a couple of people think, okay, perhaps you scold the dog, you tell it off. Perhaps you ignore it, whatever. So I'm going to give you my suggestions and advice of what I would do in this situation and what I personally recommend you do in this situation. This is not necessarily what you should do. This is just, I have something in my eye. Ow. Sorry. This is just what personally I think you should do in this situation and what I do myself. So let's take a step back. Right from the very beginning, your instructors are going to be talking a lot about poop and pee and perhaps to an extent vomit. So I think the first, number one, most important thing to say, and you know what, if you're a squeamish person and you don't want to have to do with poo, wee, vomit, diarrhea, all of the things, maybe getting a guide dog isn't for you. Because you really are going to be like a new time mum. If any of you have got kids out there, you will know that one of the things in Mother's Club that is talked about a lot apparently is what comes out the back. And it's quite similar really when you're in guide dog class. In the beginning of class, you will begin to establish a toileting routine with the assistance of your instructors. And you will also be given fairly strict guidelines to what your dog can and can't eat. So it is really, really important that first of all, you stick to those guidelines of what your dog can and can't eat, and you monitor, their consistency of their motions. I told you this was going to be gross. You monitor their consistency of their motions and how often they're going and when they're going, and obviously, like I said, you monitor their toileting routine. So you might have a routine that looks something along the lines of, first thing in the morning, your dog gets up and it does ones and twos. Then maybe about lunchtime, your dog will go out and do just number ones. Then say 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, your dog will go and have ones and twos again. And then at 10 o'clock at night, just before you go to bed, your dog will go out for a number one again. And I will link a video I did a while ago about how guide dogs go to the toilet for that reference as well. So that is an established toileting routine. But what happens if you're out at the time that your dog will need to have a toileting opportunity? So the most important thing is that you make sure that when you're out in public, you have all of the equipment necessary to toilet your dog. So your dog might be from a school that uses a toileting harness, or it may not. But you will obviously also have to have toilet bags with you and be able to clean up after your dog has been to the toilet. So when you're out in public, it's very important to be able to toilet your dog when they may need to go. It's also really important if you're setting out for a walk with your dog to give them a toileting opportunity and to make sure that they are comfortable before you go taking a walk. So for me, with Penny, for example, even if she went to the toilet at breakfast time, sort of, maybe 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, if I'm then going out at 9:30 or 10 o'clock in the morning, then I will give her another opportunity to go to the toilet before we leave. So this is where we come into the situation of the dog toileting inside, is you've given the dog the opportunity to go, but it hasn't gone. What do you do then? So first of all, like I said, when you are about to leave home, you give the dog a toileting opportunity. And it would be a really good idea to establish this toileting opportunity as an on-lead opportunity, because obviously if you just let the dog go in the backyard free, you're not going to be able to know what it has done. So I personally would recommend that you leash relieve the dog before you go out, and if you think that there's a chance that it may need to have a poop and your school uses a toilet harness, then by all means make sure you put the toilet harness on. Then when you're out in public, if the dog hasn't been before you left home and you've driven to wherever you're going, say you're going to a shopping centre or a restaurant, or I don't know, getting a lift to a railway station that's, say maybe 15-20 minutes drive away, then I would give the dog another opportunity to go to the toilet when you get out of the car before you go inside wherever you're going. Now, obviously this can be a little bit difficult depending on whether you're in like a major city and how much grass and stuff is around, but I really would highly recommend that you would try and find a place that you can toilet your dog just before you go into the shopping centre or wherever. Now, it's very, very important, and this is sort of one of my number one rules about toileting when I'm out in public, is do not place the guiding harness on your dog during a toileting opportunity, because we don't want the dog to begin to associate relieving themselves with wearing their working harness, because that can actually promote more accidents. Anyway, once you have given the dog the second opportunity and it has relieved, then you can by all means go in and do what you have to do in the shopping centre or whatever. But if your dog has not relieved, you need to yes, you need to keep an eye on the situation. And also, you really do need to reconsider whether taking your dog into a shopping centre, if it hasn't had a movement for, say, 3 or 4 hours, and you know that it's around that time, you really need to reconsider whether that's a good idea. So perhaps if you're at a shopping centre but there's like a footpath on the outside, maybe walk up and down for, say, 50 metres or so, and give the dog a bit of movement to stimulate them to go. You can use your long cane for that. I have actually been known in the past to have my harness over my shoulder, to have the toilet bag on the dog, and to walk it sort of, 50 metres up and 50 metres back along the footpath outside a venue to make sure that he has relieved himself before we go in. But then if you do go in and your dog still hasn't relieved, you need to keep your eye out for signs that they need to go. So a lot of guide dogs will have signs that they need to go. They will have some kind of an indication, some kind of a change of behaviour that will show that they need to go to the toilet. So with Penny, for example, she slows down and she, becomes a little bit hesitant. And maybe if we're on a footpath that's got a bit of grass on either side, she will actually pull over to that bit of grass. With Darcy, if he needed to go to the toilet, he used to actually speed up. Some dogs, if they need to go to the toilet, they might start licking their lips or salivating. They might start shaking themselves a little bit more than they usually do. There are several different, they might start walking funny. There are several different ways that dogs can indicate that they need to go to the toilet, and it just is a matter of learning your dog and learning what that feels like when they are indicating that they want to go. So when your dog starts to indicate that they want to go and you're inside a shopping centre or whatever, then you need to find the way outside and find somewhere to relieve the dog. If you're on your own at the shopping centre, you don't have someone with you, obviously you can use a self-advocacy or some kind of a technology such as Ira to help you find your way out and to help you find a garden or something. If you're getting concerned that the dog is getting too desperate and can't hang on, then stop and place them in a sit, because that actually stops them from wanting to go. It doesn't make them hold on forever, but if you stop and make your dog sit for a few seconds, then that may assist you to get them to hold on until you're outside. But what happens if your dog can't make it outside and you have a dog relieving itself all over the floor in the shopping centre or airport or whatever? Now, obviously, there are exceptions to the rules. Obviously, some dogs might do it because it's a pure accident and they might be sick. I have had that happen. I haven't had a dog poop, but I have had Darcy was sick once when we were on the train and he threw up, and he couldn't help it because, he wasn't well. So sometimes maybe the dog might be actually unwell and it can't help going inside, but sometimes it's just because they haven't had the opportunity or what have you. So it's really important that if your dog does go to the toilet inside, you do not react. I mean, of course you react by cleaning up the mess or getting someone to help you or whatever, but you don't react in either a negative or positive reinforcement way. So, for example, you wouldn't give the dog a correction and say no or bad dog or anything like that, because you can't punish them for their natural motions. It's an animal at the end of the day, and you can't punish them for doing what they naturally would do, and what they obviously naturally need to do. So you can't use a negative reinforcement, a punishment. But you also shouldn't say, oh, good boy, good quick-quicks, because obviously if you're saying good quick-quicks, then that's going to, quick-quicks, by the way, is the command that my school used to ask dogs to go to the toilet. So you wouldn't say good boy, good quick-quicks, because then if you're saying good and the toileting command, do jobs, busies, or besoin, whatever, you are obviously reinforcing that going to the toilet in the middle of that shopping centre with their work harness on is okay, which it is not. So don't react either positively or negatively. Don't say anything to the dog, just drop their harness, keep their lead in your hand, wait for them to finish doing what they're doing and clean it up, and then just go on your way. Don't react to that behaviour. And I can't stress that strongly enough, is you can't react in a negative way, oh, bad boy, and that sort of thing, because that's just not okay. So, as I said, you can't correct them for their normal emotions. So, I hope that I haven't been rambling for too long, because I feel like I have, and I hope that makes sense. So, just remember the basics. Relieve your dog when you have your relieving pattern established in class. Make sure that you maintain that relieving pattern at home to the best of your abilities, especially in the first few weeks. It's really important to keep that relieving pattern exactly the same as it was on class, and then slowly modify it to suit your needs and your schedule. Leash relieve your dog before you go out. If you think they may, as we say, need a bag, which means have a poo, then by all means make sure that you do encourage and ask for them to toilet on the lead just before you step out. If you haven't had them relieve themselves before you step out and you arrive to your destination by car, or even if you have walked to your a shopping centre or whatever, give them a second opportunity to go to the toilet before you go inside without the guiding harness on. And then if you do have an accident, don't punish them, just clean it up and go on your way. So I hope that has helped. I hope I haven't rambled too long. And thank you all very much for watching. Thank you to all the new subscribers who have joined us recently. I will hopefully be doing another question and answer video soon-ish. I'm not sure when, so I'm not going to ask for your questions yet. But thank you all for watching. Please remember to like this video, share it with your friends and family. And also don't forget to ask your guide dog school and your instructors if you have any toileting problems with your dog. It's something that is very frustrating and very stressful. But please, if you have any problems, don't forget to contact your instructor. And I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.